Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Jamuna Tira Banacharya Jamuna Tira Banacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrahacharya Stotarasara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrahacharya Stotarasara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shavasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dhamma Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dhamma Ki Jai. Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Sankirtan Jagna Ki Jai. Brihamadanga Chansana Book Distribution Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada's Heart PBT Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 16, chapters entitled Krishna Chastises the Serpent Kaliya. Today we're on text 49. Tvam yasya janmastiti samyaman yaman vibo. That's not right. Somebody got to, I haven't rehearsed this before coming here. Anybody, what's the meter in this? Anybody know? Tvam yasya janmastiti samyaman vibo. Punarani Hopita Kala Shakti Direct. Tat Sabhavan Pratibodha Buddha Yan Sataha. Samikshaya Moga Viraha Ihashe. Tvam yasya janmastiti samyaman vibo. Punar aniho kitakala shakti Tat svabhavam pratibodhayam sata Samikshaya moga vihara ihase. Please chant.
Vankyasya janmastiti samyamanvipo
Samyasya janmastiti samyamanvipo
Punaraniho kritakala shakti
Punaraniho kritakala shakti
Tatat svakavan pratibodhyanam sata
Tatat svabhavam pratibodhayam sata
Samikshaya mokha vihara ihase
Samikshaya moga viharahi anshu. Attendance? Samyasya janmastiti samyamanvipo Punarviniho kritakala shakti
Tatat svakavan pratibodhyanam sata
Samikshaya moga viharahi hase. Okay, Tvam, you, he, indeed, Asya, of this universe, Janmastiti Samyaman, the creation, maintenance, and destruction. Vivo, O Almighty Lord, Unai are the modes of nature, Aniha, although involved in any material endeavor. Although uninvolved in any material endeavor. Akita, beginningless. Kala Shakti, of the potency of time. Drik, the holder. Tat tat, of each of the modes. Swabhavan, the distinct characteristics. Pratibodhayam, awakening. Sata, which are already present in their dormant state. Samikshaya, by your glance. Amoga Vihara, whose playful activities are impeccable. Ihase, you act. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Almighty Lord, although you have no reason to become involved in material activity, still you act through your eternal potency of time to arrange for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. You do this by awakening the distinct functions of each of the modes of nature, which before the creation lie dormant. Simply by your glance, you perfectly execute all these activities of cosmic control in a sporting mood.
О всемогущий Господь, у тебя нет никаких причин увлекаться материальной деятельностью, но тем не менее, с помощью своей личной энергии времени ты создаешь, поддерживаешь и уничтожаешь эту Вселенную. Ты делаешь это, пробуждая особые качества каждой природы, которые до начала творения пребывают в прежнем состоянии. И все эти грандиозные процессы мироздания возникают только на одном взгляду, отражая развлечения, бросающие материальную природу.
Purport. Skeptics may question why the Supreme Lord has created the material world, which is full of birth, maintenance, and death. Here, the Nagapatnis point out that the Lord's pastimes are amoga, beyond any discrepancy. Sri Krishna actually desires that all conditioned souls live with Him in His eternal kingdom, but those forgetful souls who are inimical to their loving relationship with God must go to the material world and be subjected to the conditions of time. The fortunate conditioned souls are startled into remembrance of their actual position as loving servants of the Lord. And from within the heart, the Lord then encourages them to come back home, back to Godhead, where time is conspicuous by its absence and where eternal, blissful existence supersedes the dramatic but disturbing functions of cosmic creation and annihilation.
Комментарий. Скептически настроенный человек может спросить, зачем Господу понадобилось создавать мир, в котором все рождаются, живут и умирают. Но в этом стихе Нагапати утверждает, что развлечение Господа это же Кришна, Амон. Шри Кришна искренне желает, чтобы все условные души вечно жили с ним в его обители. Однако те, кто забыл о своих любовных взаимоотношениях с Господом, считает его своим врагом, Господь позволяет отправиться в материальный мир, когда над ними лежит власть неумолимое время. Пребывая в сердце, Господь направляет удачливых душ, которым удалось вспомнить о своем изначальном положении любящего слуги Бога, вернуться домой, в его вечную обитель. В этой обители нет места материальных мнений, а эффектные, но беспокойные процессы творения и разрушения Вселенной блекнут по сравнению с вечным праздником блаженных игр, разворачивающихся там.
So translation again. O Almighty Lord, although you have no reason to become involved in material activity, still you act through your eternal potency of time to arrange for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. You do this by awakening the distinct functions of each of the modes of nature, which before the creation lie dormant. Simply by your glance, you perfectly execute all these activities of cosmic control in a sporting mood.
О всемогущий Господь, у тебя нет никаких причин увлекаться материальной деятельностью, но тем не менее, с помощью своей вечной энергии времени ты создаешь, поддерживаешь и уничтожаешь эту Вселенную. Ты делаешь это, пробуждая особые качества каждой природы, которые до начала творения пребывают в прежнем состоянии. И все эти грандиозные процессы мироздания возникают только на одном взгляду, который ты, ради развлечения, бросаешь на материальную природу.
Om Gyanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Umritam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, there's a concept, some of you may know I was involved with starting the Mayapur Institute. And there's a concept that's presented in the teacher training courses.
И я хочу с вами поделиться, если, может быть, вы знаете, я был у истоков создания Mayapurского института, и есть определенные концепции, которые проходят на курсах учителей.
This concept involves three zones. There's the comfort zone, the stretch zone, and the panic zone. Panic.
И есть концепция трех зон. Зона комфорта, зона беспокойства и стресса и зона паники.
Okay, so like Atmatatha Prabhu, he's been translating these classes for how long?
4 years.
4 years. So he's in his comfort zone.
И вот я перевожу лекции, сколько лет, и я в зоне комфорта.
If I were to try and translate into Russian and I was sitting there, I'd be in the panic zone. All right, so that's maybe not the best example because I don't know Russian. And then there's the stretch zone. Let's say Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is sitting up here and you got to translate for him. That's particularly difficult because he uses these like super long words and like so intellectually surcharged. His service was in the midst of the British rule of India. So, you know, the Brits, they got the best Indologists or theologians from Oxford and Cambridge to get strategies together to denigrate Indian religiosity. Okay, so I'm just play acting as Bhaktisiddhanta. Okay, so which didn't you understand? Denigrate? Denigrate means to put it down.
То есть в то время Индия была под британским владычеством, и самые британцы наняли самых лучших философов, теологов и индологов, которые хотели опустить индийскую цивилизацию.
And they were actually quite successful. You know, they incorporated their denigration into the British school system, which was put all over India.
И они были достаточно успешны, они ставили этот план, эту систему образования, которую они распространили по всей Индии.
So even the most, when I was temple president in Denver, Colorado, United States, back from 92 to 96, it was just before I moved to India, we had a large congregation of people from India. And even the most devout and sincere members of the congregation would refer to Krishna's pastimes as Hindu mythology.
They say.
Yeah. Even the best devotees, in the congregation, they use the term Hindu mythology.
И даже самые лучшие члены общины религии, они высказывались по отношению к богам Кришны, что это всего лишь индийская мифология.
So in other words, it's not real. That's what these guys are doing. And it was just to bring India under its control to increase the economy of the British Empire. Just like right now, we're in the second wave of COVID, right? And it's spiking even more than the first wave. there are more case increases than there were in the first wave per day. So why aren't there any lockdowns? There was less COVID, you know, like 8 months ago than there is now. How come there's no lockdown? It's because winning the election is more important than my praja's health. Praja means the citizens. All right, so the Brits weren't concerned with our spiritual health. I say are because on my last birthday I was here. There's no question in my mind about it. Okay. I said the Brits weren't concerned about our spiritual health. Did you get that? And I use the word are, O-U-R, meaning are. I was part of that. I was here then, man, you know. Come on, Come on, Atmatama, wake up now. No falling asleep on my classes, okay? You can change, no, don't translate that one. Okay, so, okay, where are we now? Okay, so what's really amazing, there's a bird up here in this nest. Watch out down below. It's a pigeon. He's a good guy, you know? Yeah, he's okay. So now here we've got these female snakes. I mean, would snakes be a higher birth than the birds? Yeah, I mean, snakes, they're known for being envious, for being angry, for being vicious. But the philosophy that's coming out of the mouths of the Nagapatnis is like mind-blowing. I'm trying, I've been trying to understand their philosophy for almost 44 years in July. And this put me in, when I just looked at the verse yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, I was kind of like in the panic zone for a little while. And then, I did some research and, I started getting a little bit, kind of halfway between the panic zone and the stretch zone. It's healthy to be in the stretch zone because that's when you grow. It's stretch. Stretch. That's a stretch zone. Yeah, that's when you get the realizations. You're just like, Krishna, you gotta depend on Krishna because in your comfort zone, oh, I can do that, no problem. I'm a smart guy, and right? I mean, that's when you translate. Yeah, I know all this, no big deal, no anxiety, no stress. By the influence of the Kala Chakra, eternal time, the word that's used in the English is the word for word. The fortunate conditioned souls are startled. That means they're frightened, they're afraid.
И тут используется в английском слово, что удачливые, обусловленные души, они испытывают страх.
So I was a little startled by what was before me this morning. It helped my japa, I had to have this prayerful motive. Please, Krishna, empower me. Please help me get through this. It's not easy. I'm in the panic zone.
Я молился Кришне, Кришна, пожалуйста, помоги мне, то есть полномочия, чтобы смог кто-то сказать, я буду заниматься.
Have the birds given any Bhagavatam classes?
А вот птица на лекции по Бхагаватам дает?
No? You haven't heard it? Okay. So the Nagapatnis are given some pretty amazing, making some amazing philosophical points. How is that?
А вот Нагапатни, они здесь как бы задвигают очень серьезную философию, и как это получается?
Well, Sutta Goswami in his instructions to the sages in Naimisharanya, in the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavatam, Divinity and Divine Service,
Сутта Госвами, рассказывая мудреца Наймишарани, в второй песне Шримад Бхагаватам,
he gives us an understanding that may be very applicable in this situation.
он дает наставления, которые могут очень подходят к этой ситуации.
Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Yashu Vairagyam Gyanam Chaya Rahaitukam. So, by rendering devotional service under the personality of Godhead, one automatically, immediately acquires causeless knowledge and attachment from the world. So by devotional service, the brain is activated.
Что благодаря этому служению человек сразу достигает отреченности от мира.
So that's where all this intelligence is coming from.
И это то, откуда исходит этот разум.
Are you ladies married? Yeah, you have husbands? I'm asking these ladies if they are married and have husbands. Yeah. So you can imagine if, this was, let's see, probably about 15 years ago, there was a big flood in Mayapur. It wasn't a big flood, but it was a flood, and there was these 2 cobras in the backyard that were probably, each one of them was maybe 20 feet long, and they were curled up like this together. I think it was a cobra amorous pastime, perhaps. And all of these village people were throwing their clothing at the, you couldn't say the feet of the cobras, but at the cobras, because it's like a really, gives them a lot of good, it's very auspicious to do something like that. So there are actually cobras that big here in Mayapur. So Mataji, how would you feel if your husband, if a cobra was wrapped around your husband, and he was, looked like maybe it was the end? It'd be intense. You'd be praying, Krishna, please help. So I'm using an example, but I kind of inverted it because Krishna was, Kaliya had Krishna all tied up, and all of the residents of Vrindavan were, then Krishna just broke free, and he just started dancing on the heads of Kaliya's 1,000 heads, beating the heck out of his heads as he was, I guess he must have been dancing on his heads.
И я использую этот пример, там было немножко наоборот, что Калия, Кришну, все жители Вриндавана, они схватили за голову, они были просто в ужасе, и Кришна вырвался и начал танцевать на 1000 голов Калии, и Калия выбыл из духа.
So the Nagapatnis were like, they wanted, you'd be praying to Krishna, and they were, Krishna, please.
И Нагапатни также представили ситуацию, они тоже начали молиться Кришне, Кришна, пожалуйста.
Okay, so there's a real nice quote. This is Narada's instructions to Vyasadeva. A person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge.
Цитата, и здесь говорится, это Шримад Бхагаватам, 5.6, this is the purpose, yeah?
So,
Человек, который на 100% занят служением Господу, является олицетворением всего знания.
Prabhu, you're in Gurukul? He's in Gurukul. Okay. Do you want to be the smartest kid in your class?
Хочешь самым умным мальчиком в классе стать?
Would you like to be? Okay. So the way you do that is you got to just be completely surrendered to Krishna. And then you'll be the emblem of all knowledge. Okay? Remember that, Pops. Okay? If you want him to do well in school, just get him to surrender, you know. Because, that's just something you got to do on your own. It's from your own heart. Your father can't force you to surrender. You have to do it. We have free will. Okay. Now, here's an interesting point in the purport. The fortunate conditioned souls are startled. Okay, so you were startled when your husband was like wrapped up, this 20-foot cobra that wrapped his body all around your husband and was hissing. And I was startled. Oops, you finished? I was startled when I saw today's verse in purport. Okay, so here's from the purport. The fortunate conditioned souls are startled into remembrance of their actual position as loving servants of the Lord. And from within the heart, the Lord then encourages them to come back home, back to Godhead, where time is conspicuous by its absence, and where eternal, blissful existence supersedes the dramatic but disturbing functions of cosmic creation and annihilation.
Шри Кришна искренне желает, чтобы все условные души вечно жили с ней в его обители. Однако тем, кто забыл о своих любовных взаимоотношениях с Господом, считая его своим врагом, Господь позволяет отправиться в материальный мир, и над ними берет власть немыслимое время.
So it's actually the eternal time factor that's the arrangements of the eternal time factor that startle us, that scare the living daylights out of us.
И на самом деле это как раз фактор вечного времени, который наводит на нас ужас.
So interestingly, Prabhupada's disciples say, in the spiritual world, time is conspicuous by its absence. In the spiritual world, time is conspicuous by its absence. I'm trying to get him into the stretch zone. Time is conspicuous. It's right out of the translation. You just read it. Time is conspicuous by its absence. It's something that Prabhupada regularly says. Time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world.
It's translated a little different in Russian, but it means
it's okay, you got it? Okay. Let's hope. Okay. So I have 7 pieces of burfi in my, it's Panchatattva Maha Sweets in my bag. If someone can kindly explain how time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. I'm trying to keep everybody awake. Am I doing okay? Working? Yeah. All right. So anybody want the 7 pieces of burfi? You want the 7 pieces of burfis? You got to get the answer right, though, Bubba. Okay, he's got the answer. Do you give him the mic, or how does it work?
he said that in material time, effect of time, it's affect the senses. So there is a sense.
Say again?
It's the in material world, time affects the senses. So we get this like fed up, when it's too much of something.
Say again?
When it's too much of something, we use the senses. Senses like fed up.
Oh, they're fed up. They're exhausted.
So there's no such a thing in the spiritual world.
Okay, he gets a quarter of a piece of burfi for that answer. That's all right. It was pretty good. It was a good try. I'll have to give it to you later. I'll give you a post-dated check on that. It's close. I mean, the thing is that
all senses individual, all is fresh.
I think you should sit up here and give a class. Say again?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Kala Chakra, eternal time, its role basically is to punish the jiva who's forgotten his relationship with Krishna. Have any of you ever noticed that there's a heck of a lot of suffering in this world? Yeah? Anybody notice that? Okay. There was one Jewish rabbi. His name was Hari Krishna. Not Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna.
Есть один известный раввин, и его звали Хари Кришна.
You got it all? Kind of, okay. It's like Krishna still loves you on the top, so don't worry. Okay, he wrote a book that was a #1 bestseller in America for months and months and months. And the title of the book, Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? No, actually, maybe the title was When Bad Things Happen to Good People. I think that was it. And I won't go into all the details of it. Ravindra Swarup, he once wrote a BTG article on it. It was fascinating. Now, Hari Krishna's conclusion was that, he's a Jewish rabbi. These things are falling off here. Okay, his conclusion was that, where is it? Sorry, the band and the mask got it. Okay. All right. You all set? Okay, so I can continue to make a fool of myself now? Okay. Come on, translate it. Right, so his conclusion was, and he gave many examples of, there was one example of a friend of his who was a construction. He was a construction contractor, and he had a son that had this disease that at the age of 12, he had the body of an 80-year-old man. 80. So in other words, the disease caused his body to age very, very rapidly. Like most people don't know it, but I'm only 16 years old. Got the same disease, Anyway, forgive my American humor. Okay, so what Hari Krishna's conclusion was, that God's a good guy, he's trying the best he can, but he can't control everything.
И заключение этого видео было таково, что Бог хороший, и Он со всех сил пытается все хорошо сделать, но у него не получается, потому что нет Бога контроля.
I mean, bear in mind that 8 million Jews were slaughtered in the concentration camps in Nazi Germany.
И просто имейте в виду, что 8 миллионов евреев были уничтожены в этих лагерях военных.
But even more so, the Islamic Sikhs killed 9 million Hindus in Bangladesh at the time of partition.
Во время разделения Бангладеша там сикхи убили 9 миллионов хинду.
You got it? Suchitendra, he's the one that translates the Bengali classes into English. Suchitendra. He runs that shop on the boundary wall. And there was Islamic Sikhs that captured, I think it was 7 of his uncles, lined them all up, shot him with one bullet of a high-powered rifle, killed them all.
И у него, короче, который переводит бенгальские лекции, у него в это время сикхи, мусульмане, поймали его 7 дядей и застрелили одну пулю всех.
All of these things are taking place due to the chakra, Kala chakra of the Lord.
И все это происходит под влиянием вот этой Кала чакры, представления его.
We can understand why Hare Krishna would come to such a conclusion, but it's speculation. He doesn't really understand the philosophy that's being presented here.
И мы можем понять, почему этот раввин пришел к этому заключению, но это была спекуляция, то есть он неправильно понял философию, которая описывается здесь.
Okay, so why does this happen? Why is there this, why does Madan Gopal, he's a good guy, why does he have to suffer? And I'm a great guy, why do I have to suffer? You got an answer?
The reason is that means you're not so good.
I'm not such a good guy, that's it. Okay, well thank you, you're right, you know. And sometimes you get a little puffed up, you know, what can be done, you know? Come on, translate it. Okay, so the point is this. If you look back at your devotional career, I took Bhakti Shastri, I taught a lot of it, but I took Bhakti Shastri like last, when I started about a year ago. It was March, I started Bhakti Shastri about a year ago and took it last summer with the Mayapur Institute. It was a good experience, you know, I've taught most of it. It was you know, very, it was really elevating for me to do it. And, you know, we have these, it's called open book assessments. Open book assessments are essays that we write. We write on each unit. And there was one essay that, on the Nectar of Devotion, and it was, you know, how do we process the stress in Krishna consciousness? It's based upon Prabhupada's, what he's written in chapter 10 under the sub-heading of Expecting the Lord's Mercy. And he cites a very famous verse, and he paraphrases it. It's 10:14:8 Bhagavatam. 10:14:8. Anybody? I still got 6 3/4 pieces of burfi left. Does anybody know what that verse is? Huh? He's okay. You got it. You got the rest of them.
Все, вы купили, да?
But I got to give you a post-dated check, okay? Because there was a rat that crawled in. I just saw him, and he came and he ate them all while I was giving the class.
Случайно крыса съела все группы, поэтому придется потом.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep you guys awake for crying out loud. Come on. The bird was really, I'm thinking about it, but the rat beat him to it. Okay, come on, translate. All right, I guess there's a limit to how much you're going to translate. Right? Okay. All right, so Tatenu kampam shukshamikshamano bunjani vatmakritam vipakam ridvag vapabird vidam namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadayabat. One who always tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions, one who always expects your mercy and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions, understanding that they're coming about as a result of one's past misdeeds, and goes on rendering service to the Lord with body, mind, and words, offering obeisances to the Lord from the core of his heart, that person becomes eligible to enter into pure devotional service.
Это Srimad Bhagavatam 214. Мой дорогой Господь, тот, кто смиренно ждет, когда ты пройдешь на него свою беспричинную милость, терпеливо снося все последствия своих прошлых ошибок, и почитай тебя в сердце, словами и телом, несомненно достойно освобождения, которое становится законным правом.
So, if you actually, like Prabhupada says in this Nectar Devotion quote, where he quotes Tateno Kampam Shukshamikshamano, he said this should be the guide for all devotees. Amitafa, are you a devotee? Come on, quit this humility stuff here. Okay, so is this your guide? It is? Okay, so you're a devotee. Come on. Madhu Gopal, is it your guide? Yes? No? Come on, Bubba, you better. But anyway, I was introduced to this verse, way back, and the first time I visited India in '81, I got super sick. Oh man, all those things, so many things were going wrong. Oh, it was so heavy. But it's been my friend ever since. So looking back, when the Kala Chakra beats us on the head, we look back and when that happens, and if we handle it in a devotional mood, we can actually see, wow, did I learn a lot? This really was one of the most beneficial experiences I've ever had.
Если мы посмотрим назад, мы увидим, как Кала-чакра нас повесила на многие страдания, если мы относимся к этому настроению преданности, мы можем увидеть, что какие удивительные уроки преподнес Господь.
So getting back to this essay that I wrote in the Bhakti Shastri course, we had an 800-word limit, but because it was a lockdown, the course coordinator waived that restriction. So I wrote a 9,600-word essay. 9,600-word essay. It was extremely purifying to do, and it helped me process. I mean, just before I came to India, I went through 6 years of, oh my gosh, it was so intense, one heavy challenge after another. Here's an interesting quote from a book that you probably have never heard of. It's called, it's the Krishna Upanishad. Okay? Okay, so Now we know that Lord Vishnu, he has 4 arms,
Мы знаем, что Господь Вишну,
and he holds a disc, a lotus, a conch, and a mace.
диск, лотос, булава и раковина.
Now the mace, that's the club.
И булава это
And if you don't do a good job translating, I'm going to hit you over the head with a mace. Okay, the mace represents the cosmic intelligence or knowledge. It is called komodaki, meaning that which captures the mind.
И булава олицетворяет космический интеллект или знание. Она называется калмадаги. Это значит то, что captivates in the meaning that it's like holds or
I'm saying captivates. Captivates means grabs a hold of it. Just like when her husband, the cobra, 20-foot cobra, had him wrapped all around her husband's body, captivated her mind. She didn't fall asleep.
что она как бы типа хватает.
It just grabs it. It's just like it captures it.
Да, ловит, удерживает ум.
Yeah. It's like it grabs the mind, you know, it's like, ah. Okay. So the mace represents the cosmic intellect or knowledge. It is called komodaki, meaning that which captivates the mind. It is also associated with time, which destroys all, and is thus also related to Kali, the power of time.
Глава это ассоциируется со временем, которое уничтожает все, и поэтому это также связано с Кали, с силой времени.
So it's actually, you know, this time factor, this time, eternal time, is, you know, it's an energy of the Lord, and it functions according to the direction of the Lord.
И мы знаем, этот фактор времени, это энергия Господа, которая действует под руководством Господа.
Yeah, I mean, Krishna is a good guy. There's no question about it. Hare Krishna was right about that.
Кришна хороший парень, и в этом нет сомнений, и по этому поводу этот раввин был прав.
He arranged for so many, you know, the Hiroshima atomic bomb dropping in Japan, you know, the Nazi concentration camps, the, you know, the slaughter of the Hindus in Bangladesh.
И несмотря на то, что эти ужасные вещи, Хиросима, уничтожение евреев, убийство здесь в Бангладеше, все это было.
But the jiva is eternal.
Но дживы вечны.
It's not the lessons that they have to learn go through many lifetimes.
И этот урок, который мы должны понять, что мы проходим через нашу жизнь.
Like last birth, I was here in India, then I was born in America, became a hippie, got smashed by eternal Kala, startled, and
Я в прошлой жизни был родиться в Индии, потом родился в Америке, стал химией, я получил дар этого личного времени.
and then Krishna, you know, he saw what was going on. He's okay, come on, you know. And then he helped me out through Super Soul. Said, "There's the temple."
И Кришна увидел, что я переступил этот страх, и сказал, ну ладно, давай, иди вот туда, там храм.
Okay, so look, I've run out of time. Should I keep going or should I stop?
И вот время закончилось, что это продолжаем дальше или останавливаемся?
Anybody that goes to Gurukul has the most powerful vote. Would you think I should stop or keep going?
Гурукульство не самое сильное, самое весомое слово, поэтому должен решить, останавливаться или продолжаем.
How do you vote? Stop or keep going? It's all right, you know, don't worry. I won't get mad if you tell me to stop.
Не бойся, если сказать, что остановиться, то я не забудусь.
We have many service.
What's that?
Many service.
Everyone's got a lot of service. That's okay, so we'll just stop.
Тогда остановимся.
And we won't even have time for questions. But, you know, you can stay after if you got any questions or comments, and I'll put my mask on.
Если будут вопросы, комментарии,
As long as you keep your mask on. Okay? All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.